Hi all, Agent here, and I'm going to follow up the first drone video I did with a second drone video. This time I'm on the side with the drones. This is IR, these are top-notch players, best of the best for all intents and purposes. So we're going to see what happens when I fly a not even that competitive copter with these guys. And you could say that they help carry me, sure, but and we're going to cover this again. The whole point of the video at the very end, you're going to see the scoreboard, and you're going to see that a copter has a very comparable kill-death ratio. It's got a very comparable amount of damage dealt, and it's got a very comparable overall score. I don't focus on towers a whole lot. I think I captured 2 in the whole match, and the only thing I don't do that these guys do is heal, and I guarantee if I would have healed and focused on towers a little more, I would have took this semi-competitive copter, I guess, and scored just right on par with these guys. I am a fairly decent player. I make some mistakes in this match, and I'm going to die. But first thing we're going to do is get these guys out of here. We want to defend our tower, so I'm going to do that. This copter does not have a name. It's called YouTube with my YouTube channel name in it. I use it for a little bit of advertising. I don't really do it with all my bots, but if anybody cares to see gameplay videos, they can see them. They can see my channel clearly in the bot name. Now this build is a blink and cloak build meant to intercept bombers. It's not really meant for air to ground. It doesn't do as good a job as the other copters I use, the other interceptor copters, because this one utilizes laser vaporizers instead of disintegrators. And the reason for that is that I have cloak and blink, and I've tried this with disintegrators, and I don't like how fast I run out of energy. I could fire these vaporizers for a very long time and be a little more energy efficient. It does require that I have to stay within a line of sight of the enemy I'm shooting at, so we're probably going to be trading damage. And it's not as tough as a tank or a mech or a lot of other ground builds, so I've got to pick my engagements. But it does a very good job at wrecking bombers and other copters. Just knocks them right out of the sky. So I'm going to play with these guys. And as you can see, it can do some acrobatics that my other copters can't quite do because it's a little more lightweight. It's got more arrow rods, but that actually makes it weaker because it has less connection points, and I can lose larger chunks of my bot all at once. But we're going to go back to the topic of drones. You're going to see I do a lot of maneuvering. I push up with these guys. I am playing as a team with them, and I am doing darn near as well. I lag behind just a little bit in overclock. I don't attack towers, and they're a little bit better at dealing damage to ground targets, but I do like to fight aircraft, as that is the entire purpose of this thing. So we're going to back off a little bit because they have their shield up. I do spot everybody. You'll see me look around a lot before I run away or something, and that's so I can spot the entire enemy team or everybody in my line of sight and light them up so that we know where they're at. Now, I can't get back over there. This guy's got laser leviathans, actually, which pack a really big punch. So I can't get over there and defend our tower. I would really like to do so, but I don't have the small profile that these drones have, and I don't have that erratic movement. So I'm not going to be as good at getting over there and handling problems as they are. But I do try to kind of swarm with them and play as part of their team, even though I'm not in their voice chat. I am in their Discord, but it's just in public chat. I'm not using voice chat with these guys. I've got everything muted, and I'm not even in a channel. I'm just playing by myself, so I'm not communicating with these guys at all. I'm just kind of following their lead, I guess, and sometimes I take the lead. I get left alone, but it's not at all their job to back me up in my stupid endeavors. So a lot of people like to blame their team for things. I've seen comments in chat, oh man, my team's not backing me up, you guys suck. And I don't know who died and made that guy team captain, but that's not how the game works. you shouldn't rely on your team unless you're playing in a platoon to back you up. And as you can see, these guys are almost always very close together, and that is what makes them efficient, effective, and devastating players to play against. Now, this enemy team actually fights back really well. We're not great at defending towers before they could take it. They know what they're doing. I can't say that they even have a platoon on their side because I don't see any clan markers. It is very possible that they do, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say no, they don't. This is a team of randoms. I wish I could say differently because a lot of times they do act like they are playing in at least 2 separate platoons. I see 3 guys together a lot, but we can't tell that. What we can tell is that we have 4-man drone platoon on our side and no platoon at all on their side, and no drones at all. And they actually do a really good job of fighting back. They're not very happy. If you read the chat, I'm not going to read aloud what some of them are saying. They hate drones. This is what I was talking about in a previous video. Drone players get a lot of hate, and it has nothing to do with the actual drones. It has to do with teamwork. Teamwork is OP. These guys work as a very cohesive unit. They've been playing together for a long time. A lot of things go without even having to be said. They don't even have to communicate sometimes to play effectively. That's how long these guys have been playing together, and that's how cohesive of a unit they are. I've been seeing them. I've been fighting against them. I've even played with them in their Discord with voice chat as part of their platoon. I know how they operate. It's not going to help me beat them when I'm on the opposite team, but thank my freaking lucky stars I'm not on the opposite team, and I get to have a vantage point from the drone side this time because I played it from the other side last time. Now, this would actually be an ideal match for me to record from the enemy side if I were on that team. It would show how they communicate. It would show if we actually have a platoon maybe because they could chat. We would maybe see what's going on, a little bit more insight as to what's going on that side, because they hold out for 15 minutes and they actually even managed to take our shield down. But look, if you pay attention to the video and see how all 3 of those guys were swarming, that is how you win matches, is you guys work together and you focus enemies down one by one. Everybody shoot at the same damn guy and he will melt so fast that he can't even hardly deal any damage to you. Now, these guys also have nanos, so they're healing each other, and that's part of how I get outscored, and I'm going to have to back out of here. A lot of times when I'm on these guys' side, when I'm on the same team as them, what happens is that the enemy will basically stuff me. They will see that I'm an easier target in the air to shoot at, and they will all shoot at me because they all want to get some points and get a kill, and I'm definitely a larger, easier to hit target. So sometimes I'll actually get stuffed because I'm playing with these guys and I just can't do very well. But we usually win those matches anyway, and I wind up getting a decent crate. Not that that's what this is even about at this point, but we still win because they all want to kill me, and they're kind of focusing on me until I'm dead, and it leaves these drones free to do their bidding. They can do whatever the heck they want. Just like that, it's obvious that some of these guys are focus firing on me. I take damage. I take such heavy damage. You can see how many guns I retain, even though I'm missing the whole front of my bot. I've still got a fair amount of guns to deal damage with. I'm in no condition to go toe-to-toe with a bot that's at full hit point, but this copter and my piloting of it are pretty much hanging tough with these drones. I'm kind of running side by side and overclock and score. I'm lagging a little bit behind, but like I said, I don't have heals and I'm not actually part of their team. I go off and do my own thing now and then and maybe not score as well because of it, but you see that maneuver. I actually like to ram enemies and maybe disturb their flight pattern or knock them out of the sky. I've seen copters fall down that I've rammed because they go flipping. It's a dirty tactic, but it actually works sometimes. I have a sip of coffee here. And as you can see, I'm off, out here doing my own thing. 2 of them are over working on their core, and I get shot down because I've got 2 enemies focusing me down. There's no way, even if I'm in a drone, I am going to win that fight. I'm just not going to win it. It's way too much damage to compensate for, and it's just not going to work. And that, like I said a minute ago, is how these guys win, is they will focus you down. All 4 or 5 or I've been on a team where there were 2 platoons of them on the enemy team, and it was a very ugly match. But they will all, generally, if they're all alive and in the same area, they will all shoot at the same target and take him down, just like we're doing here. He's got focus fire on him. He's never going to make it. He's got 3 drones and a half-decent copter up his ass as he tries to rush that tower. I know they're good on him, so I'm going to pull off, look around, and find some more targets to shoot at. I move up here. Got a drone, he's not really backing me up, but he's moving up too. Both of us wanted to go in and attack their reactor, but they got their shield back up, and unlike the other video, I'm not going to go in this situation and fight them inside their shield. The only reason I did that last time was because my team needed me in that moment to stop that drone from killing them as they attacked the core, and we won that match. But it's not usually the right thing to do. So I'm going to get down in here. I'm going to try to shoot this guy's guns off. It's not working. The mistake I'm making here is I'm not burst firing. I'm just holding the trigger down, and I can't get that last damn gun off. I can't shoot it because my cone of fire has opened wide up, and like I said, I'm not letting off the trigger, so it stays wide, and none of the shots were going right dead center where I needed them to go. It was kind of bad luck because normally you actually can get some shots on target when you do that, but didn't work out for me. So I'm getting bombed. I don't want to be under the bomber. I want to be over the bomber. I'm an interceptor. I should be intercepting that bomber. So that's what I do is I blink back up in the sky. I'm healing as I attack. Also very efficient. I don't retreat to go heal. I'm on this guy. I'm up his ass as he flies over to our base. I think he's trying to base rush us now. And I heal on my way as I'm attacking. It's another tactic. These guys, some or I think all of them have nanos to heal each other with, and I don't even get that benefit. So scoring on par with them is, I don't want to call it a feat, but it is an accomplishment. I do score lower, kind of right at the lower bottom of their pack, but I'm actually inside their pack. There's a guy on their team in their platoon that scores a little bit lower than I do. And I think he might have beat me in damage. Drones usually do beat me in damage, but it was very close. The whole spread of damage was not that far. These guys are actually way better players than me too, so I'm really pushing myself to kick some ass in this match and play like they do alongside them to maintain that competitive edge. Like I said, I'm not the greatest pilot, so it's nice to be able to even come reasonably close to the way these guys play and score, especially with a completely different build. This thing flies more like a heavy bomber than it does anything else. It's a little more maneuverable. Obviously, I'm using camera controls and I can strafe. So I've got that going for me. I can do this weird tilting thing, and I can actually turn 180 degrees sideways and present a strange profile for enemies to shoot at sometimes, which I do fairly often. And it works. I can't always pull it off. It's kind of a weird acrobatic I'm still figuring out. But I'm beginning to catch on to it and starting to be able to utilize it in battle. I don't even know if it actually does any good. Somebody's probably going to comment and tell me I'm an idiot for doing it, and that's fine. I might be. So I'm going to screw up over here. I believe this is about the time when I take heavy damage and actually get knocked out of the sky. I blink away, but see, I've got that focus fire. You see how many guys are shooting at me? I've got guys from the ground, and I've got that laser Leviathan copter. And I fucked up, and I pushed way too far out, and he shot me down. The enemy team focused me down. And it may be because I'm playing that copter, that big, gigantic, easy to hit target. But as you can see, my damage is darn close to what they're doing. I'm not scoring as well because I'm not focusing on towers and I'm not healing. But score is not the end-all, be-all to the game. You can have a dramatic effect on the game and actually not score that well. You're going to score about middle of the pack. You're not going to bottom score usually and have a dramatic impact on the game unless you make some like crazy clutch move right at the end of the match that really seals the deal for your team. But it is entirely possible to score middle of the pack and have a dramatic impact on the game. Right now we're going to get out of here. I've taken a lot of damage. I'm down to 2 rotors. I've got laser Leviathan shooting at me, but it doesn't even matter because the team won the match. They moved into that core without me. Didn't even need me for that, and knocked it out. And as you can see, my damage is lower, is kind of in between all of their platoon members at the lower end, and my score is 2. But even being able to score on par with them or close to it is an accomplishment with a copter. It shows that the drones themselves are not OP. It's the teamwork.